Never heard of me before in your life. Raise them up. A friend had a ticket. If you wanted to go to dinner, you had to hang around. You decided you were the youngest one in the theater. Now that you got to give it up. And you're also thinking, what is this about? Well, I gave convention speeches, and I have for 50 years since I was Miss North Carolina. The entire entry into professional speaking came from being Miss North Carolina. I got to give 500 speeches that year. You cannot buy that kind of an opportunity. I found out in 1 week I could make people laugh. I just loved it. So there are many reasons that people might say that was a break, and it was. So for 50 years, I've spoken at your conventions. I've been in High Point, this whole area, all over the country. I've been very fortunate. But a few years ago, because of these internet things, some people came to me and said, we think you might can sell tickets. And I said, well, who would buy them? The people that have seen the YouTube clips. And so I said, okay, now what do I do in a theater show? And they said, well, you just go out there. And the speakers were saying to me, what's the difference in speaking at a convention and speaking at a theater show? Well, there is a big difference. At a convention, you have to have a point. You have to have a message that's dying to get out. You got to be willing to maybe sometimes have bullets for continuing education credit. So I just came out and I just said, well, I'll just be funny. And I found out something. I can't do that. After all these years of having a point, I gotta have one, and tonight we have 1 point, and it is this. We find what we are looking for. Now, everybody in here who did not sleep through English class has just had a tightening up in your stomach. Because I ended the sentence with the word for. You can't end a sentence with the word for because for is a it's a verb. Tell me this is not so. It's a man. I'll find him. He came from over in here. So although the sentence might be incorrect, I know there are people who just get up every day waiting to find bad stuff. And there are people who make it a point to look for the humor around them. And of course, the first place you look is at yourself every single day. I had to do that early over there in Graham. Barefooted with my hair mashed down. I am 6 feet 2 inches tall. When I tell people this, I know what's coming next. They walk right up. So as a time saver, let me just go ahead and get this out of the way. They come up after the program and they will say, Jeannie, did you say 6'2"? When did this happen? I have a little girl, they might say. At what point could she peek out at 6 feet 2 inches tall? And the answer is that at age 13, in the 7th grade, I was the exact size that I am standing right here tonight. You should have seen me. Maybe those people who saw me on TV at the Miss America pageant did. Walking down the streets of Graham, North Carolina. 7th grade boys, all down around by my ankles. My mother used to say, they'll grow. You trust me, Jeannie, they're going to grow. I went to my 50th high school reunion a couple of years ago, and there they all were. But a lot of their little heads have grown up out of the top of their hair, and I can see it. I could stand here, and some of you said, I have heard you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40. I said, well, you're old. You better sit down. You know that I could stand here right now and tell you just spend my time about all the funny things that happen to a 13-year-old who finds herself to be 6 feet 2 inches tall. My point tonight is, all the way through life, we have to look for the humor and always start with ourselves. I went in a grocery store not long ago. There was a shorter woman, and most of them are. She was putting my food in the basket. She began to look at me. Golly. Myrtle, get over here. Go around the counter, check out them feet. Give the whole new meaning to the words. How about them dogs? Finally, she just could not stand it. She was like so many other people. And at this age, she said, how tall are you, honey? I said, I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall. She said, well, I don't believe it. I don't believe you're 6 feet 2 inches tall. I said, you're right. I'm 5'14". She said, I knew you weren't over those 6 feet. I lost you on that, didn't I? Right over your head, that's it. Counting on your fingers, that's it right. So I just decided to look for the humor if whether I was 13 or what I am now, so let's get that out of the way. I'm 69 years old. No, I don't some few people have it. I prefer that you gasp in disbelief and maybe say, no way. So let's try it again. We will do it till you get it right. Once a teacher, always a teacher. I am 69 years old. Thank you so much. At this age, I just continue to look for the humor that is around me all the time. Another place, can you tell I used to teach? First we're looking